Walk through our facility here. If you guys didn't know, I would hope you know, we are an OCR training OCR training style gym. So we have lots of fun rigs in the back there. We got ropes to practice on. We will be playing with those. We even have a crazy swinging pegboard in the back. Mickey always makes it look super, super easy. So today, what we are going to actually talk with you guys about is just the importance of programming. So many people go into these races, and I find a lot of people honestly aren't really prepared for what they're walking into. And Spartan tries to do a really good job in regards to giving you guys some tips and tricks for the obstacles, but we want to give you a one-stop shop, everything that you are looking for to succeed. We want to include mindset, actual training, how are you going to get your programming in, so how are you going to actually accomplish the race that you are looking for. So one of the biggest things is you signed up for a race. I hope you signed up for a race, or you're looking at signing up for a race. And so what race is that? Put it down in the books. If you actually sign up for that race, it'll more than likely hold you to going to the race. Most people, some people, like to go big or go home. Some people are like, I'm gonna start with a beast, I'm just gonna beast it out. It can be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, depending on what your current fitness level is. I would say if you're new to this, it would be best to kind of like put your foot in the water and then dive all in and go training for that. So in regards to like Spartan races, they have their sprint super beasts, ultra beasts, they got a go-gees, they got hurricane heats, they got a little bit of everything depending on what it is that you are looking for. So I would say start small so that you can know how to train, and you can actually, like, when you get to the race, you can see what it is that you excel at and what it is that you struggle at. How are we doing over there?
Almost there.
We're almost there. Alright, so anyways, so you've picked a race. Hopefully you're going to be starting with the sprint, and you're going to put it on the calendar. You're going to sign up, and signing up will actually commit you to hitting that. With that, you are then going to figure out a training plan. So how are you going to actually achieve what it is that you're looking to achieve? And so with a training plan, you want to figure out like what it is that you're strong at, what it is that you struggle at, whether you need more upper body strength, you need more endurance, is it actual like nutrition and you need to fuel your body properly throughout the race. There's all types of different things, but it really depends on like what you are currently doing. With that, once you have figured out like what your strong points are and what your weak points are, how are you going to actually push past those strong points and weak points? So let's say, at least for women, for me, upper body strength is a huge struggle. We're not as strong as you guys. Holding that engaged position is very challenging. And so really learning like, okay, like I know that I have a hard time with my upper body strength, and on these races, grip strength is huge. So the more that you can build that grip strength and that upper body strength, the more that you're going to be able to accelerate at these races. And coming up with a training plan for that. So how are you going to come up with a training plan? You're going to make sure the race is not a week ahead. We got a lot of people in here. We're like, hey, where you been at? They're like, oh, I'm doing a Spartan race and it's in a week. I'm like, what have you been doing? They're like, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to practice. That is a recipe for disaster. Coming in for a day to train is not going to make any difference at all. If you are a seasoned athlete and you know you do other types of workouts and you come in to just mess around on the obstacles, you're going to do probably just fine. But if you're a newbie and you're like, oh, I just want to mess around on the obstacles, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So you don't ever want to just practice for the obstacles on the obstacles. You want to actually practice your strength for the obstacles. So to build up the strength, like I said, my upper body strength, I have a hard time with it. So I need to come up with some type of upper body training plan that I can do to help build my strength, whether that's hanging on the bar. And how long can you hang on a bar for? So hang on a bar, test yourself. Maybe it's only 10 seconds. As you get older, it becomes a lot more challenging to hang on a bar. As a kid, you're like, oh, monkey bar is no problem. And then you get older and you're hanging on a bar for 10 seconds and you're like, this is cockamamie. So really figure out like, where's that starting point? Test your grip strength by hanging on a bar. And then you can also test and see like, what's your pull-ups? Can you even do any pull-ups? And if you can't do any pull-ups, that's fine, especially as a woman. It's hard. Sorry. Beep. There's the star for that. And so if you can't do pull-ups, then go down to the regression of things to still build that upper body strength. So whether that's like taking bands and doing like pull downs with the bands, whether that's doing overhead presses, there's so many different things. But you have to figure out a plan to figure out that progress. If you just start messing around on the obstacles and thinking like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it, it's a recipe for disaster. It's like Mickey likes to say, if you want to curl, let's say a 50-pound dumbbell, you think that your training plan is like, okay, every single day I'm going to go to this dumbbell and I'm going to try and curl it. You going to curl it? No, you're not going to curl it.
Well, 50 pounds is not big.
Okay, women. 110 pounds, whatever it is that you want to do. Do you think you're going to be able to curl it? No. What are you going to do? You got to build up the strength to actually like be able to do it. And so you have to take those small steps to get to that big goal. Every single time, if you just go to it and you're like, ugh, like you're doing nothing. You're doing absolutely nothing. So let go of the ego and start from the beginning. It is okay to start from the beginning, but you have to start from somewhere and you have to start with a plan. That's my short spiel so far. What do you got on that? You kind of heard.
No, I definitely, and obviously, it's like she was saying, that's something that I like to say in regards to dumbbells, but it's a huge thing that can be, applied towards all of the obstacle course racing, so especially with like ropes or the rig or things like that. People just think like, oh, I just got to play on it or try over and over and over and over, and then they end up tearing their hands and being extremely frustrated. It's like, yeah, like obviously you have to have some hands-on experience, but you also have to build the base knowledge and the base strength in order to be able to do it and to make all of your multiple attempts worth it. And so like not just going up to the obstacle and saying like, hey look, well I don't get to practice it in the gym or training, so I'm just going to try it over and over and over again at an open house or on course. That's potentially setting yourself up for frustration. So like building, like she was talking about, the base strength that you need in order to be able to apply the skills that you have is super important. So like having a training program that's going to help to, one, like build your overall endurance for a race, as well as build your strength, because like for most of the obstacles, for sure, there's technique and skill involved that will make it so that you don't have to put as much strength into it, but you still have to have a base strength for it. And so like doing the work off of the obstacle will help to be more proficient on the obstacle. So like she was saying, don't necessarily go and try it over and over and over. Build a routine or a plan that's going to help to move you forward, so that way when you do go to practice and develop the skills, it's easier. That's one of the things that we work with people here all the time. They come in, they get super excited, like, when do I get to climb a rope? When do I get to get on the obstacles? And they get like super, it's like, hey look, like, give us some time, we'll build some good foundations. And then we have people like, after they train for a while and they're at a good base and they have the requirements that they need in regards to strength, and we show them the skills that it takes to get up the rope, then they get up the rope first or second try, rather than beating themselves up over and over again and getting frustrated. And then that also, like, not only does that, like, build strength and help them feel more confident, it helps them build their confidence, because it's like, hey look, like, all of this hard work paid off. Whereas like if you spend all of your time and energy struggling and fighting to get up the rope without having the basic strength to do so, or a good foundation to build on, then you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna feel like you're wasting your time. And so like invest in your time appropriately. That way like it's rewarding in many different ways. And so like in regards to setting up a plan for the race, like she had talked about. Like, you definitely want to pick a race, pick a date, pick a length, all that fun stuff. Identify why it's important, like, one, to do that race, why it's important to do well on that race, and then setting up ways to train moving forward. And there's some basic things that you would want to figure out in regards to training. So like, one, decide you're gonna, like, where you're going. So I'm gonna pick this race. So identify that race, and then identify how much time you have between then and now, and then start laying out your training plan. And so for your training plan, you want to establish a few things. You want to establish a frequency of how often you're going to train, and then like lay it out in a way that's going to build, like, once again, that confidence in success and moving forward. So like, you can't, like, be honest with yourself. If you're like, hey, I have a race in 6 months, that's better time frame than 2 weeks. And then so I have a race in a couple months, and I want to start training. Don't just like, I'm going to train every day for the next 6 months. Like, that's unrealistic. I mean, maybe you can. It's not realistic for me. I have other things that I would want to do. And so it's like, all right, like, what can I do consistently for the next 6 months? Can I do 3 days a week? Can I do 4 days a week? Establish a frequency that you can keep and do successfully for the next 6 months, or however long it's going to take in order to get to your goal. And that doesn't mean you only have to do that, but that's the baseline of your program. Is, all right, this is my frequency, 3 times a week. And then, like, if you want, you can do 3 times a week, and every 4th week go out and do a long run, or where you're going to do a tempo run, or check your pace, or a fit test, or something like that, to make sure that your training is paying off. But you want to lay out that frequency and the intensity of which you're going to be training. So like, all right, I'm going to do 3 days a week, and I'm going to go fucking hard for 3 days a week. Or like, I'm going to do 3 days a week, and then like 2 days are based on strength, because I really struggle with obstacles, so I want to get my strength up. And 1 day is going to be focused on a little bit more of a cardio and vascular push, or that endurance. Or if you're good on strength, you need to get your endurance up the other way around, where it's like, all right, 2 days a week is going to be going on cardio and building that cardiovascular endurance and that long push. And then 1 day is going to be focused on strength, so I don't diminish too much strength. But like, laying that out in the beginning and having a framework, that way, like, you move with intent, you know what you're going to do, you're more than likely to achieve those goals moving forward. So like, decide, set a date, land on a frequency that you're going to be training, and then land on an intensity level, or the way that you're going to be training at that frequency. And then like she was saying, you want to lay out ways to measure your progress. And so like, do some sort of assessment at the very beginning. So if you're worried about your overall pace, then run a mile. And
how fast can you write?
Exactly.
Do the mile. Write it down. Don't think it's up here. You have to write it down so you don't forget.
You want legitimate, like, forms of measurement, not just like, oh, that felt good, I felt like I was faster. Like, that's like, when the wind blows, I feel faster, but it doesn't mean I am. And so it's like, all right, like, measure, track, time, run the mile, see where you're at, and then also like, how long did it take and how do you feel? Like, did you run a mile in 6 minutes and you feel gassed, and then next time you run a mile in 6 minutes you feel like you can keep going? Like, that, then you know, like, all right, like, this is my time and this is how I feel. Like, so tracking all of that is huge, because it's gonna allow you to know, like, how you're moving forward. I know one of Spartan's favorite tests is like the 5-minute burpee test, and so like, they take you to hell. That's what that is.
5 minutes of burpees. I feel like that's just horrible.
Yeah,
but it'll definitely help with that endurance,
yeah,
for sure.
And so, but like, doing that, like, as a good fit test, that's definitely going to help build strength as well as endurance, cardiovascular and muscular endurance. So like, doing that in the very beginning and say like, all right, 5 minutes, I got 6 burpees, and then great starting point.
I hope you can do, but hey, we all start somewhere.
And then, you know, like, hey, after a couple weeks of training, I went from 6 to 12. You doubled your, you know, whatever, my training is working. But like, having that measurable, like that system in place to measure how you're doing is awesome. But then also, once again, you have to be honest with yourself. If you come to a testing point and you're not making the progress that you want, you have to look at if your training is being beneficial. So like, the more you train, the reality is that you will have diminishing returns. So like, that first time, yeah, you will be able to double your progress, like double your performance if you're just starting out. And then the more that you go, like, you'll go from like 50%, or you'll go like, be able to double, and then you'll like increase by like maybe 50%. And so like, it'll be diminishing returns. You're not always gonna go from like, oh, like, I was sitting on the couch and I started running, I lost 25 pounds in 2 weeks, and now I can run 5 times faster than I could 2 weeks ago. Like, that's awesome. But if you kept it up, you would be nothing, and you would be super fast. Like, that's cool. But realize that like progress is progress, and so don't diminish your success or your efforts because your return isn't coming at the same rate. Because like as you get stronger, there's only so much you can add to your arsenal. So like realize like, all right, like I'm moving forward, I am getting stronger, this is working. But you also have to take a hard look in the mirror and realize like, look, is this working? If not, how can I correct and adapt and change it so that I can get the results that I want? So like if you're not getting faster or like a steady pace, then it's like, all right, like what can I do? Go back to the drawing plan. How can I tweak this? And like, I'm always a fan of like tweaking things. Like don't scrap something all out and then start all over, because then you're potentially starting from ground one. So like make a small adjustment to your training. Like, all right, like do I need to bump up the intensity? Do my runs need to be a little bit different? Do I need to do intervals instead of long distance? Do I need to do hills instead of trails? Do I need to do street instead of the treadmill? Like whatever it is, like figure out a small alteration. Don't just go like, all right, I'm gonna go from running a mile to a marathon this weekend. Fuck it, I'm all out, you know. But like make a small adjustment and then give yourself a decent amount of time and then retest. Like 2 to 3 weeks is minimum on a alteration to both your nutrition and your performance. So like if you're in the gym and you're trying something, you're pushing hard for 2 weeks, then retest. Testing yourself every week isn't going to give you a good pulse on it, how much you're moving forward. So like you have to be realistic with yourself. Things take time. It didn't take you a week to get where you are now, so it's going to take some time to get to where you want to be. What up?
Oh, we're live. Oh,
yes,
hi.
We are live. How's it going, everyone? Welcome
to our Just Go Lift Part 2. We did Part 1 on YouTube, but
we'll be sharing this.
We're learning
on YouTube afterwards. Yes, it's a learning process that you guys
get to be a part of.
Yes, exactly. So what are we going to cover today?
I was just going to ask you.
Oh, we're learning together. No, so today, well, we'll recap what we went yesterday for those of you who missed it or haven't seen the YouTube that we did yesterday. So yesterday we went over training and setting goals for moving forward in regards to specifically OCR racing, and that it also applies to every area in your life in regards to like setting a goal, overcoming obstacles. Like obviously, like for this, we're specifically talking about like physical obstacles on a race, but it also applies to any obstacle that you may face, like at work, emotionally, whatever. So knowing when you have a race, what is the most important thing to do to get ready for it? One is obviously figure out which race you want to do, identify that, lock it in, and then set up a way to make sure that you are prepared for the race as best as possible. That way, like when you go to the race and you do well, you know, one, that you've done everything you could to do well leading up to it, and then you perform as best possible date of. So then you will finish feeling much better physically and emotionally because you know you came and you gave it your all. You didn't just show up and
lollygagged.
Yeah, or just get it done. Because like, it's like it is possible to just show up and be like, you know what, I made it through it. But that's not as enjoyable as knowing that you gave everything leading up to it and then finishing it feeling that like, hey, look, I really pushed hard and I deserve what I just accomplished. And so like knowing that, taking that serious, respecting that for what it is, would also mean that, hey, look, you have to set up a training regimen because now you have a deadline or a goal that you've set for yourself, and how do you want to train accordingly. So there's a few things that we covered yesterday. Real briefly, we'll talk about them in regards to laying out a training program for you. The first one would be, what is the frequency that you would want to train? So laying out how many times a week or month or whatever that you want to train. And our suggestion to you is doing that, laying that out in a way that's sustainable for you. It's always better to start off with something that is seemingly moderate and then build up from there. If you haven't been training recently, like just deciding that tomorrow I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and start training 7 days a week, it may sound really cool, but it's not effective because you're probably not going to be able to stick with it. So committing to yourself to 2 days a week or 3 days a week or something that you can sustain will better serve you in the long run. So picking a frequency and an intensity at which that you want to train that you can always scale up from, and then also leaves room for growth or change in regards to like, hey, look, if you are training 3 days a week and you want to do an extended hike on the weekend or a run or an additional session, you can do that. Whereas if you set yourself up
with like 7 days a week, it's hard to do any additional training or testing for progress. So setting that up, and then like in regards to racing, identifying what it is that you want to improve. I would recommend sticking to improving one over the other in regards to like major goals. So like either your overall pace or your obstacle proficiency. So like I would just like pick one, because it's going to be easier to train. Like, hey, look, if I can increase my pace. So if you're strong, if you feel good with your strength and your obstacle proficiency, then do everything you can to maintain your strength while increasing your pace. And vice versa, if you're like, hey, look, my pace is decent, I would just like to increase my strength, then I would say do stuff to maintain your pace and increase your strength. That's just like my personal whatever, because you will get diminishing returns if you try to do both at the same time. It's not that it's impossible, it's just a lot harder to do it.
It takes a lot longer.
Yeah, and realize that like that is 2 different programs. So like you would have to train twice as hard. And most people, like the average person, isn't willing to have 2 separate training regimens to achieve 2 separate goals at the same time. It is possible, it's just hard. So like if you want to do that, you have to respect it and know like, hey, I have 2 different goals, which means I have 2 separate approaches to achieve that goal at one time, which is difficult. Which is why most people say like, oh, you can only gain strength or you can only gain endurance at the same time, which like is kind of true, but it's just because most people aren't willing to put in the work that it takes to increase both your pace and your strength at the same time. So pick one, the frequency at which you're going to train for that, and then ways to measure or track like where you're starting and how your training is going. And then
like
with
a fit test.
There you go.
Or like, you know, if you're doing the mile, how fast can you run your first mile? And then a couple weeks later, do it again. How fast can you run it again? And then if you're doing, you know, want to get stronger in regards to upper body or whatever it is, make sure that you're writing the weights down that you're actually using so that you can track it. I used to always think, oh, I'll just remember it, it's in my head.
Or just go off feel.
And then, yeah, I'll just, oh, this feels kind of good. And then I'm like, wait, what did I do last week? What did I do? And you never remember. And so what has, you know, worked for me and works for a lot of people, especially if you want to progress, is make sure that you write your weight down. And even like doing a checking endurance-wise, like how many burpees can you do in 5 minutes? It sounds freaking miserable. If you want, break it down to a minute. How many burpees can I do in 1 minute? And then go from there. You don't gotta kill yourself for the whole 5 minutes. I'm just saying, that's, you know, another theory.
I mean, you can, or you can build up to it or know like where you start to fall off. Like if you do it a minute, if you do it a minute at a time, you know, like, hey, look, I can do this many a minute. And then if you stack them together, you're like, all right, like my first minute, I start at this. Each subsequent minute after that, I fall off at this rate. Exactly. And then you'll know. And then it's like, hey, look, if I do a few less in the first minute, can I increase my pace on the back end? Where it's like, maybe if you're, you know, an animal and you can do 30 burpees in a minute, then like each minute after that, you do 25 or 20. Then it's like, hey, look, if I do 25 in the first one, maybe I can increase my pace rather than doing 30 in the first one and 20 in the second one. You do 25 at each minute, and it's like, hey, look, now I'm increasing my overall pace instead of gassing myself in the first one. So like setting yourself up for success, picking a pace that you can keep is going to be huge, especially in regards to overall endurance and being able to push longer. Like realize, depending on the race that you choose, it's not always a sprint. Sometimes it's a marathon, so you have to push yourself. And like, it's always better to finish strong than it is to start off stronger than will allow you to finish strong. Because you see so many people on race, like they come out of the gate,
give it their all,
like a cannon, and then midway through the race they're walking or braking or stopping because they've gave it everything they got. If you take a moderate pace at the beginning and you can turn it up at the end, that's a little bit more beneficial than just like coming out hot and then finishing cold. That's never fun.
Exactly.
So like those are, you know, real quick nutshell what we covered yesterday.
Oh, and then also though, in regards to that, once you've done your fit test again, did you get better? Did you regress?
Is your training working?
Exactly.
That's what it boils down to. And if it's not, if like you've put in this time and energy, like it's hard to adjust because then it feels like you're essentially admitting that like that was a waste of time. But we're like, honestly, like,
but be real with yourself.
If it was, then don't waste any more time, right? So like if the training that you've been doing hasn't been moving you in the direction that you want,
why not?
Make adjustments and move forward. That way it's like, hey, look, why wasn't this benefiting me? How can I make adjustments so that it can benefit me the way that I would like? Rather than just like continuing to beat a dead horse or doing the same thing over and over and then not getting the result, because then you're going to spend so much more time and energy and not get the return that you want. So like, test yourself, see if you've made progress. If you haven't made progress, then take a hard look at your training regimen and be like, all right, like, how can I adjust this? And I would always suggest making small tweaks or adjustments and moving forward. That way you can see like what's actually working and what's responsible for the progress. Because if you like scrap everything and start fresh and then you like test yourself, you're not going to know like what part of the new program is yielding the results that you want. So like if you lay in a whole new regimen, then like piece by piece switch it out. That way it's like, all right, like this is when I started implementing this or putting this into play, this is when I really started to see a difference or see change. Then you can know like, all right, I can turn it up in this one area to get even better results. So then you can have better control over how you can adjust your progress, which like is ideal, right? Because it's not just like, all right, train harder. You want to be able to train smarter. So if you know exactly what's yielding the result that you like, then you can adjust the frequency or the intensity of that to increase your rate of return.
And realize things take time. It's all about consistency. And
it took you how long to get where you are right now? So like, know that it's going to take a little bit of time to like move forward, make adjustments, grow.
Yeah, but you're not going to know that unless you're tracking it, right? So make sure that you're tracking what it is and that you are reflecting on it and that you are celebrating the little wins that you have, so that'll continue motivating you and pushing you further. And knowing, why did you sign up for this damn race? Why? Deep down, it comes down to a mental game. It comes down to a physical game. I know for me personally, when I first started doing the obstacle course racing, I was going through a lot of tough times in my life, and I thought if I could, I don't know who's on here. Love, heart. Oh, Mr. Rosales. But I know when I first started doing obstacle course racing, the biggest thing that I want to do is I figured if I could do this, like I could do anything, because it requires the mental grit, it requires the physical grit. And so when you are going up and like doing an obstacle, or you just look and you're like, oh my God, these mountains are never ever ending. Get into that head and say, I got this, I gotta keep going, and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Yes, there's times where you probably feel like you want to cry. I've had those moments.
I've been there. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Miss you.
I know.
But yeah, so consistency, and then really bringing that like physical and mental aspect together to crush the race. Because if you're telling yourself, I can't do this, this is too hard, you're absolutely right, and you will not finish the race with that negative attitude. So change it up. Be positive. So with that being said, we're going to show some obstacles.
All right. So we just put up something a little bit different or new in the gym. So we'll show that. I'll let my beautiful wife demonstrate it first.
Oh.
And so this is something that, we've definitely seen before. And so we wanted to bring it into our space to help both, you guys and our members and other people get ready for obstacles. The reason I'm gonna let her demonstrate is because this is one of the obstacles that she kills, as well as it was one of her biggest obstacles learning or like getting into it. She felt defeated her first race, and she was like, hey, this is something that I'm going to learn to get better at, come back super strong. And she learned it similar to like how some of you guys are going to learn it right now online via a video. She learned some tricks, visualized herself doing it, thought about it over and over, and then when she hit it the next time on the race, she was able to conquer it. So I will flip this camera around so you can see her. Oh, there you go.
Am I live?
Yep.
Okay. So first things first, I do not recommend these shoes. Okay, these are not the proper shoes for a rope climb.
Sorry, Reebok. She recommends Reebok, just not for rope climb.
So you want something that has nice grip, especially for the race. Grips the rope so much better. The other thing that you want that I recommend, at least for the rope climb, is gloves. I used to when I first started, $5 at Home Depot, Gorilla grip, glue type gloves. They work amazing. They're $5. They'll last a couple races. The other ones I like are the wide receiver gloves, because
There you go.
You're going to wrap your foot around it, all right? So you want to practice. You want to practice the motion going around. So run in between the legs, wrap that foot around. So you want to make sure it's right in between the legs. The rope goes on top of your shoe. From here, for this purpose, we're going to practice using the bar, all right? So that we can work on our upper body strength and we can work on our footing technique here. So I'm tall, so I can grab the bar here. So from here, I'm hanging. I'm not in a dead hang. I'm pulled up. My scapulars are shredded and engaged. I'm going to wrap my leg around here. Step on the rope on the top. Pinch my legs. Step. Pull myself up. Come back down. Unwrap. Practice that same technique again. Stand up. Stand up, squeezing those legs, pinching them, and lift up my arms. Back down. One of the biggest things, I don't know how some of these smart women do it. I'm a big believer in pants. Wearing pants, and I have tall socks underneath my pants because I'm all about protection, right? So my favorite technique is the J-hook. And so with this one, we'll call it the ballerina. We got sexy stripper, we got ballerina. Okay? So the ballerina, I like to call like a plie. So I use my dominant leg. The higher that you bring your knees with any of the rope climbs, the faster that you will get up the rope. So hence, doing hanging knee raises is going to help build that core and help build that strength to get you up. It will also help build the grip strength for the rope as well. So with the J-hook, we're going to ballerina plie. So I want to bring my knee as high as I can up to my chest. The rope falls in between my legs, goes over the top of my foot here, and then once I'm hanging on the bar, I'm going to sweep my other foot around and step on top. Super important to step on top of your foot, not on the side pinching it because it doesn't give you a nice secure lock. And I prefer this because I feel a lot more secure in it. Some people like to switch their rope climb to an S-hook on the way down because you can go faster down. I'm all about security. I like to feel secure, especially when I'm high up in the air. So I maintain this. But especially when you're first practicing out, it's super important that just be consistent with whatever you do. Pick a technique that you like, that works for you, and stick with it. Right? That's what's going to get you the best results. So, ballerina plie. Bring my knee all the way up. I'm going to grab this bar here. I'm going to take this foot, sweep it underneath. Step on top of that foot, pinch my legs, stand up and pull. See how much taller I was able to get on that one? So, hang back down, make sure that rope stays in between the legs. Rope is over the top of the foot. Bring that knee nice and high. Other foot sweeps around, staying on top of that foot, pinching the legs, standing up and pulling. So that is just one thing that we thought, we got fun to be able to build that upper body strength. That's Nikki's idea. And also practice the footing. One way that you guys can practice the footing is you can grab a box. So, you want to make sure that you're on a tall enough box. Make sure I don't hit your head. That your feet aren't touching the ground. Sorry, I got like, here. So confused.
Protection.
Right, so anyways, so with this, remember, bring that knee high up into that chest so I can get up this rope fast. I don't want to waste time and energy. So, sitting down, bringing that knee up, sweeping my foot underneath to step on top right here. And then I'm going to hold onto the rope, pull myself into it, grab and stand. Alright? And then you're going to come back down. So the whole purpose of sitting down is to make it like a mind-muscle memory thing. So that when you are going up the rope, you build that mind-muscle connection, and it's just a second nature to you. So practice sitting first, and then you can go up and down the rope.
That way, it's just habit. Like you, because you're like, if you're on the race, you're tired, you're fatigued, you don't want to have to think about it. You want to just be able to act. And so the more confident you get with the movement, with securing your feet, then the easier it is. Jerry's on. Then it's easy to move with control, because the more confident you are, the more confident you feel, the more calm and controlled you'll be able to move. So like doing it seated is definitely going to help, and breaking it up like she just displayed will allow you to build the confidence on the floor with your feet, so that way when you're hanging, you won't necessarily be panicking about what do I do with my feet. You want it to be more reactive, where you're just like, you grab the rope, your feet automatically know what to do. Next, she's going to demonstrate her rope walk up. So this is how we break it up. So we went over the foot technique and different ways you can practice that, and this is how you'll practice and build both the grip strength and then the upper body strength you need to be able to both hold your body weight on the rope while you're getting your feet where they need to be, and then walking your hands up.
All right, so if your knees are bent, it's a little bit easier. If your knees aren't bent, then it's a little bit harder. So it depends on what your capabilities are. So with this, we're going to walk ourselves down the rope. So make sure you keep your core nice and tight. I'm going to walk myself down the rope. Make sure that you don't touch your ground.
Like a wrecking ball.
Alright? So I don't want you dropping yourself all the way down. I want you maintaining that constant tension and that grip strength in those hands. So go as low as you can. If you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. So we should be in this position here. And then we're going to walk ourselves all the way back up, and then walk ourselves back down. And that's really going to help build that grip strength. You want to get comfortable just hanging on the rope. So literally just hanging for as long as you can. A lot of people, they like to go and like, oh, I'm just going to run and jump and grab the rope, but so many times people don't have that grip strength yet, and they end up sliding down the rope before they even started. So really learn how to come up to the rope and calm. I always say, like he always says, the obstacle that you approach, you want to be like calm and collected. And so as you come, just center yourself, take a nice big deep breath in and out, and then freaking nail it. Go for it. Be confident in the approach that you take, because now that you have practiced it, and even if you haven't had a chance to practice, this was something that for me, like he said, I watched YouTube videos. I've never had rain downs on a rope until the actual race. And I did, it was 4 races before I was able to actually climb them. And if you utilize the technique, you don't need that much upper body strength to be able to do it. It just comes down to commitment, determination, finding that right technique that's going to work for you in this race. So that's one of my things.
Oh, we got double Jerry's on here.
Double Jerry's.
Yeah, 2 Jerry's.
Oh my God, we got a Dominguez, we got a Jimenez. Oh man, guys. All right, what obstacle will you be teaching?
I was fighting an obstacle right now. I have a call coming. I have to pee. I will be right back. Hold on.
All right, while he potties, we can go over some different grip strength. Ways to build your grip strength. There's so many different ways that you can build your grip strength. A lot of people don't realize that when they're doing upper body, someone answer that phone. It's my alarm. Hold on. It's my 222 alarm. It's the kick ass and help as many people as possible alarm. That's my reminder. Hold on. I'm serious. You think I'm joking? I'm gonna show you right now. Kick ass, help as many people as possible. You got this. That's what I tell myself. You got that? All right, it's been answered. So anyways, back to grip strength. So many people don't realize that when they're working their upper body, that you're working your grip strength. There's a lot of different like general exercises, doing a deadlift, doing a like bent over, reverse grip pull, overhand pull. You beat your alarm. Thanks, Jerry. So all of these different types of things will work your grips. During our OCR trainings, I am huge on working the grip because obviously that's what a lot of people need during the races. You guys are a little slow in your comments here. What's happening? Mr. Jimenez and Dominguez? I'm just kidding. But anyways, he's back. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
Sorry.
We'll go over the grip strength later.
Sorry if the camera was moving during the rope demonstration. I was like doing the dance.
Okay, all right.
It was bad.
He's about to be twisted on the twister.
Oh.
We're ready. Here we go. We're going to share that video. All right, here we go. Twisty the twister.
All right. So there's plenty of ways to do this. I personally like to go backwards, but I do realize that takes a little bit more strength than most people have because you have to engage your scapular all the time, as well as be a little bit more confident with your hand movement. The only time people struggle with going backwards is once again when they don't have the strength to stay up, or
Oh, God. Don't have the strength to stay up?
yeah, those up. We're in progress for that. Or they're worried about watching where they're going. But like if you're confident with your movement, you don't necessarily have to see where you're going. And so most of the time, like people struggle because they'll reach up and they'll try to watch. And so they're so focused on like looking back that it's not comfortable. They can't engage like that. But if you just like advance without having to see and you just like feel it out, then it's typically a little bit easier. Our handles are a little bigger than you'll see on the race, but they're also spread out a little bit further. So on this one, you're able to put two hands, but that makes sense for the fact that the handles are right next to each other. So like I'll demonstrate backwards. So you go backwards, and like I said, you don't necessarily have to see like where your hand is going. If you just reach, you feel it. And then you should be able to advance fairly quick moving backwards. Sideways is.
That's the speak louder cue.
Oh. Sorry.
The old man can't hear you. we love you, Map.
Turn the volume up. Turn the volume up. The other way is if you were to go
You got it, Jerry.
If you were able to go, like, if you wanted to go side by side, you can do it either in a semi-dead hang. You obviously almost, when you're hanging from your hands, you want your scapula to be engaged all the time. So, like, I'll demonstrate on the low bar. She demonstrated earlier. Whenever you're hanging, you don't want to be fully disengaged like this because you're at an increased risk for injury. So whenever you're hanging, you want to make sure that your scapula is engaged, which means that your shoulders will be pulled away from your ears. So like a full like dead hang while all you're doing is gripping will look like this. You're potentially risking injuring your shoulders, but like if you stay engaged like that, so the difference between here and here, you're going to protect yourself, and we want to make sure that you stay strong. Like so many people you hear that have been racing for a while, it's like, oh, I was doing good, but my shoulders hurt. It's because they're doing obstacles at a full dead hang, and they're putting themselves at risk for their shoulder coming out of socket or injuring themselves some type of tear, which is definitely not what want to happen. You want you to stay healthy, so like staying engaged as much as possible. It doesn't mean that you have to do like full 90 where you're up like this, just enough to where you're pulling away from your ears. So on the side-to-side movement, same thing. You're going to want to stay like as engaged as possible, and you can like work on the swing like with your legs, or you can do it like with pulling with your arms, and then you want to move. So like that, same thing. You just want to advance. You also don't have to advance hand over hand. Everyone is different. That's one of the benefits of being able to come to a facility like this or going to the open house so that you can get your hands on it and see what technique works better for you. That's going to be beneficial, hugely beneficial to you coming to a facility where you can put your hands on it, or go to the open house where you put your hands on it. That way, like during the race, when you approach it, you know what works best for you. You're not going to try to muscle it out, and you're also not going to be worried because you know you've tried it backwards, you've tried it side by side. You've tried it different ways, and you know which way you can complete it, like while being the most efficient with time and energy. So like that's huge. You want to, in your training, build out ways that are going to increase your success rate. So like she was working towards talking about grip strength. On these, like grip strength is obviously huge, but one of the things, like it doesn't matter how strong or weak your grip is, if you aren't secure in your grip before you advance, you will fail. And far too often you see people that are moving fast, and so like they go to move and this hand is like quite secure, and they'll let go with a backhand and they'll fall. It's because like even though their grip strength is well or good, they just don't have a good grip at that moment. You see it a lot in the monkey bars. People will get 2 or 3 in, and they're like, I don't know, that one just seems slippery. It was most likely because they just didn't have a good grip on it. Yes, there's water, there's mud, there's stuff that gets on the obstacles, but the reality is most of the time when you slip is because you weren't secure before you let go or try to advance, but you're trying to move too fast. So like, take it slow. Sometimes slow is fast. Common control will always be better than fast and frantic. Did you have like, there's all kinds of different tips for like training grip strength. I know one of Matt's favorites is towels or old shirts over a bar or something like that. It's going to definitely help like the squeeze because it's a vertical hold, so you're making sure that hands don't like slip down.
You want to show them? We have that one right there.
So that is grip slip. And so they come in all different lengths. This is an extra long or large. And then
He likes it extra long.
yeah, like my coffee, like and strong.
Oh my God.
This is a normal one, but it has 2 handles, so not all of them have 2 handles. But these are super nice. You can use them for all kinds of things. But if you wanted to hang from it, you can put it over anything you want. A tree branch, pull bar, whatever. And then squeeze it and hang. And that would like definitely help your grip strength. One of the handles is awesome because you can like try your grip strength this way, but you'll get more benefit from the vertical grip and holding on like that because you have to hold on tighter so your hands don't slip. And so it'll be very similar to like the strength that you would need for the rope or the rig, because like that's the part that everyone hates on the rig is the rope, right? Because they slip right off. It's because they don't have the grip strength required for that like that vertical hang. But changing your grip helps. I know with Sam, when she does a twister, she will alternate on the horizontal and vertical part because it breaks up the way it taxes your grip. Because holding on to something like this requires a different grip strength than holding on to it like this.
Well, plus the handle too, like will prevent it from slipping. So, oh, hold on guys. The handle, when you're grabbing it, yes.
So,
Here, sorry guys, there you go. He's gonna demonstrate.
and so like this, you can obviously slip off. If you're here, the handle stops your hand from sliding down. So it breaks it up a little bit differently. It secures your hand and you don't just like slide right off the bottom and you don't know anything like that.
And especially if they have like the actual grips on the bars, like the little hand covers, they started to take them off.
They have some lanes that have and some lanes that don't. That way you have the option.
And Jerry, in regards to your glove comment for it,
No glove, no love.
For me personally, we'll turn it around. For me personally, using gloves, I like to use gloves on certain obstacles, not every obstacle. I am not a fan for it for the twister, but that's because I feel like any hanging motion that I'm in, like a vertical pattern, such as like the monkey bars, I feel like the gloves actually slip off of my hands. I will use it for the rope climb. I will use it for Olympus or a sled drag just to protect them. But as far as like monkey bars or like if I'm just hanging like this.
She likes it more for pulling rather than hanging. So like she said, the sled drag or the Olympus where you would potentially be like pulling, it's a lot easier on your grip. The reason she likes it for the rope isn't necessarily for the grip, it's for the slide down to protect her hands. Like the tips that she gave for the rope in regards to long socks, pants, gloves are all just to protect her on the way down. So like her grip is better hanging when she's, just like ODB raw.
Oh my God.
But like in regards to saving energy and sliding down, the gloves are super beneficial.
Yes. All right, next obstacle. What do we want? What do you guys want?
Or grip strength
Or
tips.
grip strength
I mean,
tips.
like there's so many that you can do. Even if you didn't have the grip, like the grip's like a t-shirt over the bar. Some people are like, well, I don't have a pull-up bar at the house. Like that's all right. One of the ones that I learned first that I thought like, no way that works, but it's actually cool. You can do anywhere. No innuendos.
Hey, we keep it fun, Jerry.
It's outdo. But fingertip push-ups or just fingertip planks will definitely help with.
He'll demonstrate those right now for you.
It'll help with grip because of the strength it requires to keep your fingers out. So if you need to just plank, then just plank. If you want to do push-ups, that obviously makes it a little bit more challenging.
You can always drop it to your knees too. But if you drop it to your knees, my only request is that you keep those asses down. If you ever come to one of our classes, I smack butts. I do. So keep the core engaged.
Shouldn't be in a crawling position.
Sonia knows. I know I smacked her butt before.
But that's huge. Another one that I like that is a little bit different or weird is gymnastics rings. Like, obviously meant for hanging, or like that's one of the many uses for them. I like them for like on the ground, doing planks, push-ups, whatever, because of the grip strength that's required to not get them to roll or fold. And it's also really good like core stability. So you can do all of that stuff, engage your grip as well as engage your core, and it's hugely beneficial because of how much it takes to actually like hold on to them. I know like the first time Sam saw me, their knuckles are white.
They were like blue.
Ripping the shit out of me. So that I just like, smash my hand in the ground. And they're super cheap. You can order them on Amazon, Walmart, or $10.
But get the wooden ones. If you get the plastic ones, they don't work as well. So.
Well, especially if you're dancing, because they're super slippery.
Yeah.
And they're also slippery on your hands. Like these, because they're wooden in the core, so you can grip them differently, and they also like seat better on the floor. And then there's like different variations for that, like you can turn this way, and you can touch them together. I feel like touching them together is the easiest way to start.
What does that look like?
It looks like a beat. So like putting it together looks like this. I personally think it's the easiest way, but I've also suggested that to people and they feel like it's harder. So it depends on which of your like stabilizer muscles are stronger, I guess. And so putting it together it would look like this. And so you would hold it. And I feel like it's easier because it takes away one of the variables in regards to moving, so you're only squeezing in one direction. And same thing, I feel like the second easiest would be sideways this way. And then the harder one is forward or front or back like that.
See, his knuckles. Look at him. Look at him. How about bar hang?
Bar hang is definitely huge for grip strength. And then doing what we call, or everyone calls, hip slaps. So you just hang. And then, once again, like calm, control, when you have a good grip, let go. It's a lot easier said than done, but like do your best to be as controlled as possible when you let go, because it's going to be easier to hold on. Same with like fast, frantic movements when you're on an obstacle. So like if you're here and you go to do a hip slap, like the more controlled you can be, the better. So like you let go and you like don't swing everywhere. Same with going back up. You want to like not swing, because the more controlled you can be, the easier it's going to be to hang on. If I let go and do this, like now it's like I'm fighting to hang on because I'm swinging everywhere. The more controlled you can be, and like that's not in grip, that's in like body control. I get asked all the time, what do I do for ab workouts? I don't do anything. I just like, when I hang or do something like that, it's core engagement. So like if you engage your core when you're hanging, you're not going to let go and like Tarzan swing everywhere. And it's also beneficial when you're on the race, like not just for you, but for other people. Because if you're in the monkey bars and you're swinging like a madman, you're gonna kick somebody else. So like, one, like it's gonna make you a lot stronger, whereas like every aspect of your life, core engagement is huge. But then it's gonna help you be a little bit more respectful to other racers on the course. Like that's one of the things that's huge for us. We try to teach all of our people in here is like, be conscious or mindful of the other racers. You're not the only one on course. So like when you're running, walking, you're about to approach an obstacle, all of that stuff, be mindful of the other racers, because it's going to increase the quality of your experience and their experience. If you're like worried about being able to get across the rig and you jump on before someone's all the way across and then you catch up to them, then you're more likely to struggle and fail, because you're going to have to run the obstacle longer and you're potentially going to pressure them. And so like it's going to make it a lot better for you if you give them a little bit of space, give them some cushion, and then go. That way, like, you're not waiting for them, and then, like, because if you're on the obstacle waiting, you could reach a point where you're fatigued, you fall off, and now you fail just because you shot too soon. So So like be mindful, and especially like in regards to one of the new obstacles that they just released, the egg beater. It's like it's long, it's connected, and it spins. So two people could be on it at the same time, or like you could be on it.
Called the egg beater?
Yeah. And so like, because it looks like like a whatever whisk thing where you put on a bumper. But if 2 or 3 people could be on it at the same time, and you go to get on it or off it while someone else is getting on, it's going to make it extremely challenging and difficult, because like when their body weight hits on it, it's going to potentially like spin you off or make things more difficult. I know like we've had some fun like on the twister where like 2 people on the opposite side, you go in and play chicken, and if like someone is
scary.
If someone is heavier, the other person will go up. Like that's just gravity works. And so you will get it so you're like about to shoot up. I know Matt was actually pretty clever when we did that, because he's lighter, so like he went up. Like he's smart. He like transitioned down or like rode it all the way up. I'm an idiot and I didn't want to hold on, so I was gonna like fly all the way around it. I was strong. Matt was smart. So like in a race, be smart. Give yourself some room. Approach the obstacle when you know that you're going to be successful. Make it better for you and for you.
Awesome.
What else? We'll do one more before we wrap it up, unless you have any other questions. Our goal was to do this for an hour, just to provide you guys some value. About 40 minutes into it. So we'll cover a little bit more, and then we'll wrap it up for today. And we will be back tomorrow just to provide you guys with a little bit more, some tips, tricks. And we'll get some feedback on this one and see if there's anything that you want us to cover, any questions that you have, because that's what we're here for. Our goal is to hopefully, increase your ability to be able to train and like line up on race day as confident as possible.
Awesome.
So what do you want to cover next?
Let's do Atlas or outside? Olympus? Spear? Wall? I don't know.
We can do we'll do the Atlas, and I feel like that one's fairly quick, so if we have time.
All right, we're gonna pick up some heavy balls.
Oh, black
We
ones.
got a lot
Big
of
ones.
balls. We got big balls, we got small balls. Yes, Jerry, these balls are for you. These balls are made for walking. Just kidding.
Balls?
Yes, balls made for walking. Okay. All right, here we have he just makes it look so easy. That is not how you pick up the damn ball, okay?
Yes.
That's a 75-pound ball. We have a 150 ball. On the race, I believe the female is like 55 pounds and the male is 90 pounds, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But we're going to show you the proper technique on how you can actually pick up the ball and do it without, we don't have an inverted wall, and do it without hurting your back. All right. Yes, heavy balls. Here we go.
All right, so I'll demonstrate how I like to do it, and then she'll demonstrate how she likes to do it. They're very close, very similar. This isn't how I do it on the race, it's just whatever. So when you're coming up, you're fatigued in the race, you potentially don't have the strength to pick it up, the easiest way to do it is to put one knee on the ground, grab the ball.
Pray to baby Jesus for your life. Just kidding.
Probably be in a hole. So like before you actually like try to lift it, roll it out of the hole. It's gonna set yourself up for a little more success, because you're not gonna have to get down so low. So put one knee on the ground. It's out of the hole. Roll it up towards your body, and then you want to transition to the other leg. Once it's good here, you can get into bring the other leg up. You can either pause there, or you can just fire all the way up. If you want to just fire all the way up, make sure you have a good grip here. Put the other leg in and stand, and then you're good to go. Right? Go for a walk. You'll drop it. Once again, knee on the ground. Roll it up. Once you get to a good place, you transition to the other leg. Once it's secure on this leg, get a nice good grip on it, and then bring this leg up and stand. And stand. Good to go. If you wanted to like just pick it up, you want to like address it like a sumo squat, and so legs slightly out, go as deep as you can, because that's the way they like it, and then hug the ball, and then lift with your legs. You never want to straighten your legs and lift with your back. You want to lift with your legs. So come here, you want to like hug it as much as you can. And then when you go, you're going to drive up with your legs, rather than like doing this and then like pulling through with your back. You're always going to look with your legs first. It's very important on this as well as on the tire flip. When you do the tire flip, you want to make sure that you're driving with your legs and protecting your back.
Awesome.
So
Hey, Casey. We miss you. All right. I will demonstrate now.
Her turn.
My booty is sore from my workout the other day.
This is.
So, I got booty excuses, guys.
Here we go.
All right. So, same ball. Sometimes it depends on like how tired I am. Sometimes I'll end up standing up with the same leg. So make sure you get nice and underneath it. Roll it up. Switch it over. From here, you can kind of like lean forward a little bit. You can plant that back foot to help you come up. Lean forward and stay. Make sure that your hands are either interlaced or you can grab your wrist, but just make sure that you have a good grip on the ball. And then drop it. The other way is the like sumo squat or sumo stance. So making your toes pointed outwards. Just like this, like I'm a little sumo person. Right? Sumo down. So I'm going to go nice and low from here. Yes, my down. My back is probably going to round a little bit, but as long as my core is tight and I'm using my legs to pull up, that is completely fine. If I'm using my back, that is where the issue comes into play. So, because of the motion of it, I will be leaning forward to bring it up to get my arms actually underneath the ball.
Map said you're legit.
So, get under nice and low. Make sure that you pull through. So I'm using my legs to lift up the ball from here. So core is tight, picking it up, pulling with my legs, standing up, and then walking up.
I think we need to see that one from the back.
You screwed with me.
yeah. I'm just kidding. Map did hearts, but we'll pass on that one for today. That's for the private collection. All right.
But yeah, so with that, like the way that you can practice those is doing like sumo squats. So if you don't have a big ball to play with or a big tire, if you use a landmine. So what you're like, what the hell is a landmine? Thanks, Matt. Thanks. Let me show you real quick what a landmine is, so you guys know how to practice these.
She's gonna set you up right here. So like if you don't have a landmine, you can do this all kinds of stuff. If you have a kettlebell, you can do it with a kettlebell in between your legs. If you have single dumbbell, you can just do like a dumbbell, like goblet squat. If you have a sandbag, same thing. You can do anything that you would potentially like straddle or keep in the center of your, center mass, and then pick up. Like, so for her, she's probably gonna keep her grip low and then do it. If you had a weight, you would keep it up by your chest and then do it.
So make sure with this, obviously there would be plates on this, but I'm not doing that. So with this, I'm using my legs to pick up the bar, not my arms. My arms are just holding it. So they're staying out straight, okay? So they're nice and relaxed. They're just holding the bar. Back is flat and straight. Core is tight and nice and deep. Toes are pointed outward. From here, I'm going to push through my legs, stand, squeeze my tush at the top, and down. Stand, pushing through my legs, using my tush at the top.
Remember, tush at the top.
Tush at the top. Get the booty, all right?
That doesn't mean throw your pelvis forward.
No, it doesn't mean.
It's not hyperextend. It's engage your glutes.
All right? So it's not overextension, it's tuck. All right? Tuck it.
Yeah, tush tuck.
Tush tuck.
That's the name of our new band, the Tush Tuckers.
Tush tuckers.
Yes, that's for sure.
But yeah, so those are different ways that you can help strengthen and then actually like practice that mechanical pattern will be proper. I don't know if that's proper, but
It works for today. Works for today.
But we're going to be doing this tomorrow. So if you guys have questions in regards to certain obstacles that we didn't cover today that we can help you conquer, please, post them in the comments, post them on our Facebook page so that we can address it tomorrow. If you have different questions in regards to how to build upper body strength, get stronger legs, get more endurance, whatever it is, let us know. If you want to know how to prepare for a race, how to recover, all of those things, we are here to help. Mindset.
Or even during the race, like so many times, one of the things that people struggle with is like they spend all this time and energy training for a race. Here, we're gonna walk back over to the front. Training for a race, and then day of they show up with nothing and expect to run for 13 miles without doing anything, and then they get like super gassed. They start cramping. They whatever. Like I don't know what happened. Sorry, we were just addressing something. But they're like, I don't know what happened. I felt really good in training, where they trained for, an hour or two during their training sessions. And then on the race, they're out there for a little bit longer. The hills are a lot heavier. So like during the race, you want to make sure that you are fueling yourself before you're hungry or before you're depleted. So like ideally, you would want to like try it in your training and implement like what intervals you would be feeding yourself or like fueling your body. But like every 30 minutes to an hour, you should be intaking something. Like, even if you're not hungry, it's not because like, oh, I'm hungry and I want a snack. And no, it's because you're torching through energy or calories that your body needs. And so like, if you get to the point in a race where you're hungry, it's too late. You're going to start cramping, you're going to start fatiguing, and then you're going to be in a losing battle. So like, you want to take something that is easy for you to carry, easy for you to consume, and it's going to keep you ahead of the curve. And so, like, something like they have powdered carb supplements that are easy to take. You can mix them in your water. They have water station you keep in your pack. If you're...
Map is a fan favorite of Lickies and Chewies is what he calls them.
Yeah,
Lickies and Chewies, which is like gels.
Yeah.
Some people love them, some people gag on them. So.
But you want to stay ahead of the curve. So every hour you should be consuming, anywhere between 30 and 50 grams of carbs because of how much energy, as if you're pushing heavy. Not if you're walking the race, don't do that. But like if you're running, if
you're legitimately like getting your heart rate elevated and you feel like, oh my God, this is an actual workout. It's because you're actually working, not like I'm gonna take my time, have a picnic.
Yeah.
No.
If you're pushing, you want to make sure that you're going to fuel yourself both with water and with calories. And so like you don't want to do something that's going to be hard to eat. Like I know some people are like, oh, I took steak or chicken or whatever. Like that sounds awesome, but the reality of how hard it is for your body to break down those like full complex like chain of protein is going to make it where it's going to take away from your performance and actually increase your potential for cramping. So like fast, easy carbs is what's going to help to like give your body the energy that it needs to push forward. And so like, and taking that at increments before you like feel like you need it, because if you feel like you need it, it's probably too late. So set yourself up for success. Carry a pack and keep some stuff in there. That way you're like super.
I put them in my sports bra.
No, I don't, because I go topless. For sure. But so I would do that. It's going to prevent, that way you don't have to carry like bottles of mustard. You're actually giving your body something what it needs, and you're not like panicking and trying to like combat an emergency situation. No one wants to be like running up to the inverted wall or a wall and then hit the floor because their calf is turning inside out. Like that's the worst feeling in the world. I've personally experienced that before, and it's like, hey, look, and I knew that it was because my nutrition wasn't where it needed to be on the race. And so like, that's okay as long as you learn and adapt and like figure out how you should be fueling yourself in the race. That way you finish and you feel really good. So that's definitely something that's huge. Make sure that you set yourself up for success, both with like fuel and hydration during the race.
Yeah. So we'll be live tomorrow at what time? I think round 2.
There you go, round 2.
Yeah. I'll double check. We'll post
punctual.
it. I know.
Yeah. Well, we'll let you know. If you guys like this, then let us know. Like, share, comment, tell your friends how awesome you are. We are, and you are. All of us.
Everyone's awesome.
Yes. But like, if you thought this was valuable, please let us know, because we want to do more and more stuff like this. And the more feedback we get, the more we know what it is that you guys need and want from us, and so then we can deliver on that. So please, your feedback is important, because then we know what you guys want to hear. If you want to hear about the rope again, let us know. We can cover that. If you want to talk about other stuff, we can cover that. But we can only guess what you want so much. You have to tell us. So please tell us.
Be an active participant.
Yes.
In your success.
Tell us. Share this with your friends so that they can tell us what they want. because our goal is to help everyone show up ready to rock on race day. The goal is to have everyone be as proficient as possible, and we want burpee-free races for everyone. And as Nap knows, that means you have to practice your burpees prior to the race, because you will be more successful if you do your burpees before the race than if you just like think, I'll nail every obstacle.
Exactly.
So train your burpees.
Exactly. All right, you guys.
What's up, guys? So we are back today for some more tips, tricks, things to help you get ready for the course, for training, things like that, just to set you up for the best possible success in life when it comes to getting ready to conquer that next race. So not just Spartan, but any race. We help people get ready for everything from, you know, the OCR, like MCRD, mud run, boot camp challenges, Spartans, Tough Mudders, all that fun stuff. Sam's here. How's it going? So some of you guys know we just,
We're good. Hello, guys.
There you are. So we want to cover a few additional things today. Just to recap real quick, last 2 days we've jumped on, gone live, added a few like little tricks, things that we've learned that definitely help us on and off course. So day 1 we covered how to pick a race or something that you want to do, how to train for it, how to set up your training for that. Yesterday we covered a few different things such as rope climb, grip strength, cover the Atlas, the twister, and then we got in real quick just to some nutrition and things that you would need to help, you know, keep a good pace during the race, as well as make sure that you don't hit a wall or cramp or crash while on course. So today we're gonna do a few more things.
I'm excited.
All right, so so we're gonna take you outside. I'm gonna take my glasses off so they don't break. And we're going to cover one of the things that some people struggle with, which is getting over a wall. So there's different ways to do it. I'll demonstrate one of the ways, and then Sam will potentially demonstrate another. Forgive me, I'm in jeans, so, you know, but they're stretchy, so it's fun. But
he's been having some booty gains, so hopefully they won't rip in half.
No, it's good. It's all right. If they do, it's a better show. But so with the wall, there's different approaches. I know a lot of people will run at it. If you can, here, I'll turn it around so you can see. I will talk, and then Sam will film. So this is our wall. It's an 8-foot wall. Typically on a race, you'll have some type of foothold or something to help you get up. If there's not that, or you don't have that, or you're running with a team, you can always work together to get over the wall. The way that I like to help people on course the best, it is the nicest to me and the nicest to the person I'm helping, is to get in a like wall sit position. So sit like this, and then I actually have them go straight up the middle. No point in, you know, like not being friendly. That way, like they can stand on both legs, and I can secure their legs from the back. If they need to, they can hold on to my shoulders and then climb up me like a ladder, and they can grab the top of the wall, and then if needed, I can stand and then help give them an additional boost. That's the way that I found is a little bit easier, safest. I know you can like give like straddle like the hand or whatever. It's like, hey, pick them up like that. Or some people try to like run and jump off of you. That to me, I've experienced both. And having the like run approach, I've been kicked in the face. That's not fun. Doing the like slow and controlled boost is definitely a lot more secure, both to the person helping and the person that needs help. And then same with the like stepping on my hands and getting over. That works to a certain degree, but typically it becomes a little bit more shaky. So like if you're gonna help someone, make sure that like if you're the base, you are stable. That way, you know, if they need the help, you can be there. There's no point in offering help if you're going to be shaky and then you're potentially both going to go down. So like only help if you can provide a like secure base.
All right.
So the way that I like to do it is I don't necessarily run and kick off the wall. I just get close, and then if I don't have the strength to just pull myself over, I walk my feet up the wall. So I will show you what it looks like to grab the top of the wall and then walk over. If you did have to do a running approach, you would run, kick off the wall, grab the top. That's something that can be practiced anywhere. even if you don't have a wall to grab, you can come over to just like a normal brick wall or something that you can run and jump off of. So you would just run and kick off of it.
Do it again.
Try to gain a little bit more height until like practicing that over and over with alternate legs will help in the race. So like when you're approaching the wall, you can run, kick, jump high. And so like you don't have to have a wall to climb to practice that technique. So like find a single wall, run, jump at it, jump at it, jump at it. Especially for someone that is vertically challenged, they will need to be able to either have like a great vertical leap or be able to kick off the wall. So for me, I approach it. I don't kick off. I just jump up and grab. Grab the top, and then walk up. And then once you get to the top, you can either straddle it like this. I typically just like to put my foot on top and then jump over. Straddling it's a little bit more secure. You don't necessarily get as high. And then work your way over, and then go down as controlled as you can. That's pretty much it. All right, Sam, you ready to demonstrate?
All right, guys.
Look at her back. She looks good.
I don't like you to see, but on the race field planted here in the front. I am blessed with really orangutan arms and legs, so I like to just go around the top. The foothold will help me get a grip on the top foot, and then I like to get my leg and hook it over the top. So sometimes on the race, your arms can be super fatigued. Even trying to like push yourself up on it is challenging because, as you know, Spartan has a lot of upper body strength and grip strength. So I like to slowly try to insert my elbow into obstacles, and especially when you're running and then you come up to a wall, a lot of people will end up cramping because all of their blood is going from their legs from running up into their arms as you're trying to pull, and then it's like, oh god, I got a cramp, and then you're like sitting in the wall and spasming yourself out. So anyways, normally it is in the front. Here we have it on the side, so sometimes I'll just grab the side here to be able to grab the hand at the top. Like he did, you can walk your feet up the wall. Pull myself in close to the wall. I'm a straddler. I get nervous when I go down. Alright, and then I just slowly lower myself over. I like to put my chest over to the front here. And then if I can, if there is a foothold, I will like kind of grab it again. If I can with my foot, I'll just try to slowly lower myself down. Or you can catch it with your foot. And then break. So that's how I do it. I like I said, you can see I walk my feet up the wall, but if it is slippery, sometimes that can be challenging. So try to get that good grip in and then swing and hook your leg. And as Mickey had mentioned yesterday, you do want to try to alternate those legs because otherwise one leg will start to get more fatigued than the other.
You get bruised on the inside. It's almost like when you see a fighter in kickboxing or UFC that takes all the kicks in one leg and then like all of a sudden they can't stand. So like eventually you'll get to a point where like one leg hurts too much and you won't be able to stand or move or run. So like alternating will help if you're throwing your leg over in an abusive manner.
All right, what's next?
We'll take it back inside. We'll go over, this is something that we typically don't cover on like things like this. But I do think it is important. It's something that we work with a lot of our in-person members on. We'll go over some of the techniques for what they call the plate drag. And so in the gym, we use a sled and ropes to simulate or to like practice for this. So today we're not going to load it up with a buttload of weight. This is for demonstration purposes only. And so any gym that you go to, you train at, that has a sled, they have an extra rope, you can purchase or use. Grip slings are great for this. Anything that you can attach to the sled to be able to pull it towards you will definitely help. And then you'll be able to get a feel for what it would be like when you're on the race, having a nice good seated position and then pulling or rowing back, and then how it's going to feel to transition one arm to the next, or if you want to seat and then pull back together. Looks like Sam's ready to demonstrate. She's my little Vanna White. Here we go. So, like I said, we just have a sled. We don't have any weight on it, with a climbing rope or just a rope attached to it. And then she's seated back. And so she will demonstrate proper technique on pulling it back, and then some different variations on how to bring it to her. On the race, it's a little bit different because most of the time the ground is uneven. So having a good secure base or knowing different ways to pull it is definitely going to help. Because like hand over hand is great when it's like nice and smooth. There's no divots or it's not super heavy. But every once in a while you'll get a divot where you have to give it a little bit of extra pull. And so like knowing how to have a good secure base, pulling back with both arms is definitely going to help.
So at the race, the ropes are attached to a stake. I highly recommend planting your foot against that stake because it allows you to leverage your body to pull it back further. So really like have a seat. Pretend there's a stake right here that my foot is wedged against. What you can do to, if you're wanting to preserve your strength, obviously on the race, which is what you want to do, then you're going to want to use your whole body to pull it back. So my foot's against the stake. I'm going to lean forward as far as I can to grab the rope, and then I'm going to pull back. And then I'm going to try and grab as far as I can, lean, and pull back. For training purposes, if you want to gain the back strength and the grip strength, what you would want to do is you could row it one arm at a time. And so obviously there would be more weight on here. And so for practice purposes, to actually build that back strength, you can row one arm at a time, making sure you're pulling with those back muscles, keeping that core nice and tight. And then of course, the funnest part when you do this is you have to push it back. But on the race, you would be dragging it back. Sometimes here during our classes, we attach a grip sling, and then we're able to practice pulling it back. So make sure that when you are pulling it back, that you keep your core tight, and your back is nice. The core being tight keeps your back nice and protected, nice and flat. So don't be like arching or pulling. You're going to set yourself up for disaster and hurting your back. So super, super important that when you're pulling with your legs, arms are just pulling. So for instance, pretend when my core is nice and tight, my back is nice and flat, and I'm not injuring anything. So those are just a couple of the techniques, but really using your whole body to leverage the sled is going to make it a lot quicker for you to pull it.
And so the same thing goes for the hoist. It's a very similar pull. The only difference is it's hung rather than on the floor. So this is our hoist. Someone tied up on this. But it's a very similar motion to that, of pulling the same way. So you would want to make sure that you, if you are struggling to preserve energy, nice like high grab. They do have stuff at the race. They'll have a partition.
We have an expert Mark Montano observing right now.
And so like if you're at the race, you need the extra boost. You can put your foot on the barrier. I believe if you're running a late, the only like qualification you can, one foot has to be on the ground. So if you need one foot on it, you can, but you have to have one on the ground as high as you can. You can use your body weight to bring it down. And then if you're feeling strong, you can just row it, one arm at a time. If you need, you can reach out, pull back, walk your hands up. Same thing, use your body weight to go back. You can even do that in a bigger motion. I know some people will go from all the way standing to the ground and then do it again. So start up and then you bring it down. If you're going to do it this way, you can stand on the ropes, pretty secure it, walk your way up, do it again. And that way you're using more of your body weight and technique rather than just like blowing through all of your strength because you'll probably need it later. They typically like to put this one next to something else that requires a lot of upper body or grip strength, so the more you can preserve your energy, the better it's going to be. And then always make sure you come down slow. If you slap the sack, you will be doing burpees because no one likes their sack slapped.
Oh my god.
So be gentle with it. Otherwise,
Don't beat the bags up.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll be doing burpees after you just did all that work. So do you want to for that one?
No, you said it all. You covered it. My little expert.
Another one, if you want to go back outside, we can cover would be the Olympus. They made some additions to it this season, so there's big balls or grips on the end of the chain.
We got a lot of sack and big ball talking around here.
Sack inside, balls outside.
Yep.
So it depends on like what it is. Some people like it. It helps. Like obviously, if you're using the chains, they can be a little rough on the hands. Same with some of the other like holds. Can be a little bit difficult on the hands. But the balls, like potentially, if it's raining or they're super muddy or slippery, they may not be able to get like a really good grip. They could potentially get you to like not have your hand slide all the way down, but once again, it's tough on your grip. The biggest thing with this one is going to be keeping your center of gravity or your center of mass like back. So like you don't have to necessarily have your arms all the way straight, but like having them somewhat extended is going to keep your center of gravity pushed into your feet. The closer your chest is to the wall or the obstacle, the harder it's going to be in your chest to fight to hold on. You're going to use a lot of upper body strength because your feet are going to feel like they're slipping. And so if you can keep your upper body away from the obstacle, so like if you are going to use the balls, do this, keep your body away, then your feet, it's easy. You're like, if you do this, then you like really have to hold on because your feet are going to slide out. So like if your arms are straight, it makes it really easy to just like keep all of your weight down here. Then you're not really having you're not really having to like fight for it. So like the more weight you put into your feet, the easier it is to hang on to the obstacle. If you do this, then it's going to be like holding it in engaged pull-up or like something where you have to use a lot of upper body strength. So do your best to distribute your weight properly, and then it becomes more of a technique and skill than just like brute strength. And then this one, there's other fun ways that you can work together, just like we talked about on the wall. You can spot one another. And so like if you were going to do that, someone would be on the obstacle. Like there's all kinds of ways to do it. If you want to get handsy, you can. But that doesn't necessarily, once again, like we talked about the wall, doesn't provide a very secure base. The way that we found is really easy and efficient on both parties is if someone's on the wall, just kind of back up to them. And you provide a little bit of a buffer or a seat. That way, like, if they do go down, like, you can actually catch them. Because realistically, like this, like, you probably can't catch your friends in hands. But, like, if you're doing this, you can bear their weight on you know, like, your low back and be able to help them. And then you also don't have to stabilize them the whole way. You're just there as, like, just in case. So it's a safety net. So you can spot them the whole way, give them the satisfaction of being able to complete the obstacle, but also give them the security if and when they need it.
That's awesome.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Hopefully this helps. Next one, we're gonna turn it around. Sandy's gonna demonstrate.
Oh God, this is I'm not gonna lie, it's like a 50-50 for me on this one. It definitely comes down to obviously technique, which is huge, and then mindset. So we will talk about the spear throw.
Oh, I was gonna say burpees, but spear throw works. I was just kidding. I was gonna say. She knew.
All right. So we're gonna sit around.
It's like a good meal plan.
Exactly. So find what works for you. So practice a couple different styles, and then whatever that is, like whatever style you like, practice that style, and then consistently do it so that when you actually get to the race, you're like, oh my God, that's how you do it. The next big thing that we really preach to people is making sure that you come up in a calm manner to any obstacle as you approach. So really just rather than like gunning through it, like gotta go, most people mess up, they slip. yourself hitting this obstacle and you're like thinking about it the whole time, because that's at least what I do. I am envisioning myself, I got this. And then walk the obstacle, take a big breath, and of course find that lane that you want, and then you're just gonna go for it. So, how that works, pick a lane, make sure that when you have the spear, there is a rope that's attached to the spear, and you want to reel out the rope, and then you're going to throw the rope over the fence so that you don't step on it. And it's one of the biggest errors that so many people make. They pull it all the way out over the fence, it either gets hooked into the fence or they end up stepping on the rope. Sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, I like to actually like pull the rope, and so if there's a rope here, I would pull it this way, and the rest of it would be over here so that it doesn't have any chance of hooking. Some people like that, some people don't. Me personally, once I get my spear, I like to look at the tip and make sure that it's nice and straight. So if it is a little bit bent, you can turn it opposite, tap it a little bit to straighten it. I prefer finding the balance point in the spear. So when you find a balance point in the spear, you should balance, right? So you might be a little bit further forward. Some people prefer it to where there's a little bit less of a balance point and it drops forward so that they have more of a guaranteed like hit. So I'm right-handed, so I'm going to shoot with my right hand. For us women, I'm strong in our upper body, and so we have to do a little bit more of a like into it. Sometimes we gotta step into it. I gotta step into it because my shoulder gets tired and I don't have the strength to just, as Matt would say, kill into the spear. So, keeping my left arm out because I am right-handed, I'm gonna throw it with my right hand. This left hand pointed at the target is going to kind of like with bowling. Your thumb faces forward in the direction that you want it to go. So my arm is going to point where I want it to shoot. Plus, it'll prevent me from wanting to cross over my body with the spear. So I usually prefer a left arm out, left leg out. I like to keep my elbow pointed towards the target, so it's almost like a darting type motion. Some people prefer it out here, but for me, I find that I tend to go over my body when I do that. So from here, I'm pointing at the target. I like to just do a one big one. See how I feel? Yep. So I'll step into it to give me a little bit more power behind the spear. Oh. But figure out what works for you. Some people do like it where they angle it up a little bit to get more of a trajectory. You just have to be careful because if you angle it up too much, it's going to drop too soon. So, try it.
Unless you do the Cody, the complete underhand. I don't know how he does.
That man's like, he does like this. I don't know how he does it. Let's try. We'll angle it up a little bit. Like I said, I don't know how to do this. Oh, it was there though. We just have it.
Sorry.
But yeah, so figure out what works for you and stick to it and practice it. We're located in National City, about 5 minutes south of downtown San Diego. We have a place to practice. Obviously, not everybody has like a spear throw in their backyard. So you can practice by even like not having a spear and having just a broom and like throwing it at a wall if you want in your backyard.
Like the kids race. I know the kids race, they don't have tips on them. It's just a broom handle and a target. So then you'll know, like, hey, look, if I can nail the target, then I'm good to go. And I know our good friend Matt loves to find the spears at the race that don't have a tip and see if he can nail it anyways. Because, like she said, he
freaking kills it. Like,
yeah,
it's bad.
He puts everything behind it. So, like, tip or not, he's sticking it.
Oh my god. Yeah. Jerry would be proud of us. Mm-hmm. Jerry would be proud. Sorry, guys, if you haven't realized, we like innuendos. We figure, humor is the spice of life. So,
it's true.
Yes.
It's true. So we'll walk over to the front and then talk about a few other things real quick. That is it for today in regards of obstacles, at least like physical obstacles for the race. We do have some things that we're working on for you guys that will allow us to be able to continue training with you both live and not live on a lot of these things, because it is important to, go over things multiple times, because that's how you learn. The thing that we wanted to talk about now was obstacles that you may face on race day or training leading up to race day that aren't necessarily physical obstacles in regards to like race readiness or proficiency. I know, at least for me, when I was first starting, it seemed like every race there was something that came up that presented an obstacle on race day or leading up to it. Like there was unexpected traffic, or the weather wasn't what I expected, or if I was running with a team, somebody was late, and all of those things could potentially affect your performance on course. And so do your best, like she was saying, when you approach a physical obstacle on course or in life, it is we have a customer. Welcome.
Excuse me, I have a question right real quick. How much do you guys charge to start it?
We have different membership options.
And so the big deal, like you said, we're live, so that's how that goes. But would be to be calm, controlled, and handle it for what it is. Like, hey, look, like you're there to compete on the race. Don't let anything leading up to that affect your performance day of. So know that like you've trained for this. This is something that you're prepared for. You're to come. You're ready. One of the things that Joe DeCina is big on in regards to the race or Spartan, like as most of you know, this is one of the few, if not only, that has a penalty if you cannot complete an obstacle. And his logic behind that isn't necessarily just like a punish. It's that in life we face obstacles, and that we cannot, even if you can't overcome that thing immediately, like if that thing challenges you so much that you can't complete it, it doesn't mean that you can't advance in life. It just means that there is something else that you can do before you advance. And so, like, take that into heart when you're going to the race. So, like, things may not go as smooth as possible, or in your training, things might not go as smooth as possible. But that is what you're training for. Is that like, hey, look, like, things don't always happen as intended. But that doesn't mean that I can't advance. That just means that I potentially get to or have to advance in a different way. So, like, keep that in mind, because it's huge. So many people will have something unexpected happen, and it throws them completely off course, and they're not too sure, like, hey, look, how do I move forward? What do I do? So that's just something that, like, we personally like to work with all of our people on. It's a little bit of a mindset thing that, like, look, both on and off course, you want to be calm, controlled. Don't let anything unexpected, like, alter your results or your ability to move forward. And so, like, because Sam's up front, we'll cover a few other things with the rig. I'm going to see if I can set this up to show you a few things. So this is our multi-rig. We have it hung in the back. It is challenging for most people. It's 2 rings, 2 ropes, 1 ball, 2 ropes, 2 rings. So for most people, the ropes and the ball can be very challenging. One of the things I want to point out here is that, like, you will see this on races at different venues, different things, whatever. For us, we have it set up like this on purpose. So you'll see one rope is just a straight rope. It has a single knot. The second one has 2 knots. We put that there, or I have it there for a reason, and it is because it allows you potentially to reposition when you are advancing. And so, like, they have them on races to provide different opportunities for you to grab or grip. So, like, on this one, if you would be going from the beginning, you would transition. You could go hand to hand or both from one ring to the next. Once you got to this rope, there's a good chance that you will be getting low in your swing. And so having these additional knots, one at the bottom, one at the top, will allow you to reposition your hands, get a higher position before you advance. Far too often you see people grab the bottom one and they will put both hands next to the bottom knot, and they won't necessarily utilize the top one. The top one is there for a reason. Like I said, it will allow you to reposition your grip and advance without, like, declining. So, like, let me see. I have a magnet. Let me see if I can position this in a way where you can see me use it. No, maybe not. We'll see, guys. Sorry if it's, like, spinning everywhere for you. No, doesn't look like it's gonna work. Sorry, just trying to do this on my own. Wait, I can grab something to set you on. So I'll set you up right here. That way you can see, like, me attempt this. So you'll see I'll start low, I'll grab the bottom knot and then transition to the top knot to advance. I'm not gonna do the whole rig, just the section that is like on camera. So, like I said, like I'm sure you saw, I don't know what you saw, but hopefully you saw that I used the top knot to get a higher position, because sometimes when you grab that low knot and you swing down, you'll fall or you feel yourself dip, and that typically will lead to you like slipping or falling off the obstacle. That's definitely not something that you want to experience like mid-race. One of the things that we covered yesterday in regards to like grip strength and advancement was making sure that you are as secure as possible before you go to advance. And the reason that's important is because if you aren't secure, your grip is a little bit loose, you go to advance, there's a good chance that you will slip and fall. And so there is tons of things you can do. We covered a few yesterday in regards to training your grip. You can hang on all kinds of stuff. There's different things you can squeeze. You can throw a grip sling, a towel, something over a bar or a doorway and like hang your body weight off of it. Another one that our good friend Matt Dominguez loves to do is with a dumbbell. I will show you. He likes to get on the edge of a bench and then roll the dumbbell down his forearm and then back with his fingers. And so you would be, here and then down and then back up and then down and then back up. And so that's going to provide you with a little bit more of a forearm pump, working on your grip. It's definitely something that will be beneficial in your training to help get ready, because the awesome thing about bodyweight training is that it's difficult. The thing that sucks about it is that it's difficult, and if you get to a point where you are fatigued and you can't hang any longer, that is a good regression to do so that you can continue to build your strength even when you're fatigued. Another thing you can do, if you are in a place where you can hang on something, is to potentially provide yourself with a spot. I know when I personally first started training, I couldn't even hold my own body weight on a bar. And so the way that I started was I had a friend hold me while I try to hold onto the bar. And that was honestly how I started. I would bend my knees and he would grab my shins or my feet and hold me up so that I wouldn't fall. That can be a little sketchy, but it worked. The other way you can do is you can just put a chair or something at your feet so that you can step on it or hold or lift yourself up so that you don't have to bear your entire body weight, because we know that bearing your entire body weight can be difficult. But it is something that the more proficient you want to be at the race, it's something that's going to be necessary. So definitely train hanging, train your grip for that, because it is necessary. And then also practice. So many people will practice hanging with two arms. Hanging with one is just as, if not more important, because when you're going to be on the multi-rig or the monkey bars or the twister or something where you're going to have to transition, you will need to be able to bear your weight with a single arm. And that's important. Sammy's back. How'd that go?
That was great.
Yeah, see.
He's going to do OCR class Wednesday.
Oh, see? Live.
Changing
lives right now. It just happened with you guys here.
Mm-hmm.
That happened.
What'd I miss?
I did my best to go over the rig by myself with them. Well, it wasn't by myself because they were here, but I covered.
I could we can do it again.
I set them up on a bench.
Oh.
Yeah, they sat on a bench and watched. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I think that was good. Yeah. And then I told him Map's favorite grip thing with the forearms and the weight and the dumbbell.
True. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But yeah, like don't forget, even in your like general upper body workouts, speaking of grip strength, hanging on a bar is a freaking workout. And even doing like deadlifts, like that's gonna work your grips, and especially depending on your hand positioning in the deadlift. So if you're doing like a straight bar, if you keep your hands this way versus this way, you will work your grips that much more. So you probably will have to go a little bit lighter on the weight. Your legs may be able to handle it, your back may be able to handle it, but your grip strength might not be able to handle it. But if you really want to build that grip strength, then keep both hands forward. Or what you can do is do all your reps, and if you want to do that switch grip or whatever, at the end of your like last set, hold a normal grip and just hold it for as long as you can on your last set at the top, and then of course put the weight down, and then that way you'll kind of like start to build that grip strength up a little bit more.
And then same with like, some of the like holding and hanging. There's so many people that'll do like farmer walks, so same thing. Just like, pick it, you can do a dumbbell. They have different things that you can carry.
This way.
Yeah. But like the big thing with the farmer walk is make sure that you are engaged, but not too engaged. You don't want like total like dead hang on the shoulder, because like we had talked about before, you definitely want to be able to protect yourself, your shoulders, whatever. But you also don't want to like be like super tight in your shoulders. You don't want to have like a curl in your biceps, because you'll see some people. So she's gonna demonstrate.
So you don't want to be hunched forward. You want to stand up nice and tall. I like to tell people to roll their shoulder blades back, or their shoulders back, and their shoulder blades go down. Your core is nice and tight. I'm standing up nice and tall, so it's nice and open. So you don't want to be hunched up like this. You're going to hurt yourself. So pull your shoulders back so that you're opening up your chest, keeping your core nice and tight. And you can see with this one I'm doing a C grip. So you want to practice different ways with your grip. This is one of them.
But see how her arms are bent? She's just like showing her grip. Like you don't know. So many people we see coming here, it's like, oh, do a farmer walk, and they'll like try to hold it up like that, and it's like that's unnecessary. Like that's so much.
It's not necessary unless you want to purposely work on your muscles in your arms, like in your biceps and everything.
Yeah.
But make sure, so many people they engage the wrong muscles than they should, and they
Or they'll completely like dead hang. So you obviously want your.
dead hang. And when they dead hang, then they pull their chest forward, and then their pelvis tilts forward, and it's not good. So core tight, open up that chest, pull those shoulders back, and walk. Walk this way.
Oh, look, there we are on the wall. That's us. All right, guys. So that is it for today. Like I said, we just wanted to jump on, share a few more tips with you guys. Please, if you have anything that you want from us that would, help to increase your proficiency on course, let us know. If you guys like this, please let us know. Comment, like, share, pass it around. We want to do our best to help as many people get ready for races as possible. We'll be doing this, periodically. Definitely once again later this week. So. If you drop in the comments, let us know when is the best time for you. We'll do our best to accommodate, because our goal is, like I said, provide you guys with some of the tips and tricks that we know. We want to make sure that you guys can be there for that, or that you will have the access to it to be able to share it, so that you can benefit from it as much as possible. So, have a good one.